Alright guys, well I'm back today with an interesting Derringer that I really wanted to grab as soon as I discovered it existed. The brand new Bond Arms Stinger series, which is a slimmed down Derringer. They normally have these Derringers which are definitely overbuilt. These things are absolutely awesome to add to your collection, and they come in a wide variety of calibers. This one is in 9mm, but they make some in 45 long Colt that shoot 410 shotgun shells. I've been a massive fan of these, so when they came down with the more streamlined version, I knew I had to give it a try, especially in 22 long rifle, because the other thing I collect is weird and obscure 22s. So I grabbed this one used. It was in like new condition, and I transferred it over at Beltway Gun and Pawn, located in Matthews, North Carolina. If you tell those guys I sent you, they'll hook you up with a 10% off something in their shop. So when I took it to the range, I loaded it up and started blasting. And one of the first things I noticed about this, other than it's really cool, is the fact that it is not very accurate, especially because of the sights. Now, look at the sight on this guy, and look how far it is below the profile of the rear sight, meaning to get them lined up, you almost have to cant it, and this thing shoots high. You can see immediately the height difference between the sight here and right here allows you to tilt it down slightly and hit at the point of impact. So when you line up that sight picture, you're good to go. Again, I want to show you guys here, when you line it up straight, you can see how far up you have to tilt it before you pick up that front sight. Meaning at least the Stinger series for the 22 long rifle is a belly gun. And it's not very practical. I really couldn't get my shots to hit where I wanted them past 5 yards because of the height difference in the profile. It's still well built and really overbuilt for a 22 Derringer, and there's no trigger guard, and the hammer itself is really stiff to cock, so for practical purposes, this is almost pointless. There's no real practical applications for this handgun, and I wanted to get that out of the way really quickly for those guys thinking about buying this. Now let's talk about why you would still want to get this and why I'm still glad I did grab it, and that is because I am a collector of obscure guns, especially ones in 22 long rifle. I just love getting interesting guns, especially well-built guns that actually work. Again, there's no real practicality, and I'm not in love with those rear sights, although I don't even think this is supposed to be a sight notch. I believe this truly is just a point-and-shoot belly gun, and for all intents and purposes, at about 2 yards, it does its job, I guess. But when you consider there's other things on the market, like the LCP2 Light Rack, which is a semi-auto LCP with a safety that holds 10 rounds of 22, which is insanely reliable and probably a little bit lighter than this guy, there's definitely more practical applications there's definitely more practical guns for this type of concealed carry 22 application. But I did want to give you guys an overview of this particular firearm, as well as show you the differences between the two. If I was getting one of these for a practical firearm, I would go with either the original version chambered in that 45 long Colt with the 410 shotgun shells, or the 38 357 where you can buy those shot shell loads. But I also have this one in 9mm, again, just because of the novelty of it, and I like collecting interesting guns. They also have a lot of different variations of this, and you can kind of see a lot of the different offerings in some of their books, so I thought that was pretty cool. They've got some of the snake slayers and different things like that, so a very interesting company, and they're always been incredibly well built and go bang every time you pull the trigger. But do you need an insanely heavy 22 long rifle Derringer that shoots incredibly high if you try to line up the sights? Probably not. But is it cool to add something like this to your collection? I think so. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.